What's going on, East Dallas? Welcome to episode 50 of season 4 of Talking Throws podcast, Texas style. I'm Coach Jason.
And I'm Coach Janelle.
And we're Throws Coach with the Thorn Factory at thornfactory.com. Thank you, everybody, for the early downloads and support. I hope y'all are liking our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search the Talking Throws podcast, Texas style, and it should come up. And just subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you like, or even give us a thumbs down if you don't. To remind everybody, too, that go to the shopping. We have these cool podcast shirts on, so you can go to Thorn Factory, matching. Go to the thornfactory.com. You can get a woman size or a plus size male or a medium size male or whatever size you need, and they come in the black or white. So pretty economically, they're pretty cheap. So if you have trouble with money or anything like that, call us up. Maybe we might get you a deal if you want a podcast shirt. So go to check those out on the thornfactory.com. Remind everybody, too, about Coach Kai Smith, East at the Thorn Factory head coach. He is looking for growers anywhere from the Abilene to the Waco area to Wichita Falls. So you can go to the website and get his contact information. And then also Coach Jarvis, East at the Thorn Factory, is also doing lessons as well. We want to thank our sponsors for season 4. Without them, we couldn't do what we do, so we're very appreciative of their support. We want to thank the Texas Track and Field Coaches Association. You can go to ttfca.org, ttfca.org for the latest news in Texas track and field. I know they're getting ready for their winter clinic in January. I know indoor and outdoor meets are already being posted for 2022. One cool thing about that site is there's even job postings out there. There's rules and regulations that you could even go if you have a question pop up. So go check out that website, ttfca.org. It's a great website to use. 4throws.com. Quality implement price right. Go to 4throws.com. Use the code TalkingThrows20 to get 20% off. If you're looking for a training hammer, indoor-outdoor shot put, a training javelin, anything like that, you know, the heels will be able to take care of it. Use the code TalkingThrows20 to get 20% off. Our favorite Porta Circle, porta-circle.com, making throws more accessible. Thanks for the cool coffee cup. I love it. Water tastes better in that cup for sure. Go to porta-circle.com. porta-circle.com. Use Talking Throws 10. Winter's coming. Use the Porta Circle for drills in the basketball gym, underneath the stadium, in your garage, in your driveway, or even on grass. Also, READYUP Athletic Development, led by Zach Phillips at 512-507-8347. You can contact him at readyupad.com or follow READYUP on Instagram and Facebook. If you're in the Austin area looking for semi-private strength and conditioning in the greater Austin area, contact Zach. And then finally, Fiber Sports Discus. Welcome to a new way to get the distance. Fiber Sports Discus is taking the guesswork out of discus selection. It's just not about rim weight. Bruce has finally got his website up. It's fibersportdiscus.com, fibersportdiscus.com. You can go in there and hit a subscribe and punch in your information and get like a newsletter and stuff like that. I think the discus will be available September 1. If you have a question, you need to contact Bruce at 817-819-1472, 817-819-1472. We want to thank Fiber Sports Discus for supporting the podcast. So we thank y'all so much. If y'all need anything from us, just reach out and let us know. We appreciate it. On episode 50, this young lady was a 2005 World Youth Shot Put Champion. She is the All-African Junior record holder in the shot put and in the discus. She came to the States and threw at SMU, where she was a 3-time All-American. In 2011, she was the SMU Sports Woman of the Year. Also in 2011, she qualified for IAAF World Championship in the shot put. She had a PR in the shot put of 1713 meters and in the discus of 5307. She's also credited with one of the farthest throws for a youth at 13 years old. I think it might have been the farthest throw for a 13-year-old ever. We're going to ask her when we get into that. I found that on my research. Please welcome to episode 50, Simone du Toit.
Cool. All right. So tell us, how did you get started throwing? When was the first time you picked up an implement?
I think I was 10 years old. My sister was a sprinter. She's a bit younger than me. And someone said, they always, in where I'm from, shot put and discus is very much for the bigger boned individuals. So the teacher grabbed me because I was so much taller than everyone and obviously a lot bigger built. She grabbed me and said, well, try this. And so I just did it. And then everyone's mouths dropped and they were like, holy hell, did this girl just throw that thing that far? And then, just the next year I was at the Pacific School Games. I was 11, my first time traveling overseas to compete. So we call it Springbok, like Protea, our national colors at 11, I think, which was one of the youngest in the history of South African sports. And yeah, every year since then, I just competed internationally. And I feel like 15, 16 years gone by, just it started that one day at a primary school with a teacher saying, hey, big girl, come throw this thing. So,
Go ahead.
I've got three girls, and my eldest is double the size of her age. So she's so far out of the charts. The pediatrician can't even measure her. He just shakes his head because her weight and her height is just, she looks like a 7-year-old or 8-year-old even. And I'm sure that when she picks up something and throws it one day, I'm going to also say, well, okay, that's where it starts.
Hopefully so. Well, as long as you don't send her to Dave Woman, we'll be good. I'm joking. Just back it up a little bit. What size implements? Because I know in the States it's a little bit different as far as weights of implements and stuff. When you were that young at 11 and 12, what size implement discus were you throwing, and then also shot put?
The shot put, we started with a 1.25.
Okay.
Yeah, 1.25 kilograms, which is then like 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds, something like that. So the rule is actually just double it. So the discus was the 750 grams. It looks like a little teacup saucer now when you look at it now.
Gotcha.
It's little tiny implements, yeah.
At what age would they move y'all up from those size implements to like the 1K and the disc?
That's one of the unfairest things now, is because they changed the categories of the weights again. So if you threw a national record under 14 and you tossed it with a 3 kg, then now, they've gone back to the 2 kg for that weight class. So if everyone's breaking SA records and, but they dropped all the weight. So I think with us, it was quite fair because I started competing at a senior level in my country when I was 14. So I had to start using the 4K.
Okay.
So I started a lot earlier than any normal school kid would, use that weight. But I think around age 15 was your last year that you did the 3 kg. So that's, it's quite light already at age 15. Yeah. So that's where I put my best marks out, because I was already training with the 4 kg. So the 3 kg felt like a little rock.
Yeah. And that was going to lead me up to this kind of setup question. And I was told that you, at the age of 13, you still kind of hold the farthest throw for that age group kind of ever in the discus. Is that true?
That was in the shot put, yeah.
It was in the shot put.
Okay. Yeah, in the shot put. I just touched the discus that year for the first time. It wasn't in South Africa. It's not a primary school sport. So the kids 10, 11, 12, 13 can't compete in that in South Africa. So at that point, you were on that mark where you start touching the discus, which is so good in the shot put. Okay. So it just makes sense that year for me to just go all out on the 3K. So we trained lots with the 4, so the 3 felt so light.
Okay.
So that's when I tossed that distance, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of coaching and I know you were kind of selected early, from the instructors, were you getting your Olympic coaches coaching you at that age, or was there some influence from your family as far as your coaching technique?
So my dad, obviously, he was a national rugby player in South Africa, and he's also a large man with lots of muscle, and I think it just felt natural for him to start coaching me. And then at that point where, the first year I started throwing and I put all these big numbers on, he felt a bit, giddy like a little girl at the ice cream store. And he was like, I need to get everyone on board on this. So there was a high school local, also a national thrower, but she still threw in the apartheid years. So she never got the opportunity to compete internationally. So Tony Letitia started helping me with the discus because that was her event.
Okay.
And from there, my dad, gathered at all the trips that we went overseas. He built such a big network of coaches and managers. But yeah, our country isn't throws friendly. Our country is one of the best places to find good throwers. But unfortunately, the support from the South African sports body that governs athletics is extremely limited by lots of, budget, politics, etc., etc. So everything that we do here, we acquire self-sourced, self-funded.
Okay.
I want to jump back when you said your dad jumped in to help you throw, and he's a rugby player. What did he know about throwing, or did he just kind of figure it out when he first started coaching you before he found you that great network of coaches?
Yes, I think he he obviously did throw in school because he was the biggest boy.
Right.
But to them, they just stood still and tossed it.
Oh, okay.
But he knew a lot of conditioning and a lot about explosive power. He was a prop, and they had the scrum, and they had to do explosive, bench and press, and so he kind of had a good background in sports, in general. Throwing per se, I don't think he had a clue. I think I remember all the videos we watched. We gathered tapes. We borrowed tapes from everyone that had any type of tape on shot put and discus, and we watched hours of video.
Oh, wow.
And we tried everything. We looked at what the Russians did, what the Germans did, all the top countries that produced Olympic medals. And we looked at the different types of gym they did, the different types of plyometrics, med balls, what type of weights they used. So we tried to just copy all the best of the best. So it was a learning thing for both of us. But if something didn't work, we just, looked at each other and said, no, this is shit. Let's try something else. And we had an arsenal, we had an arsenal of things to try. And we got creative lots of times, turning feet different ways, and fun days.
I'm sure as an early youth and you're working with are you a self-described, are you real competitive, or were you a perfectionist in your training? Kind of tell us about your mental approach to that throwing at that age.
Yeah, it's very unnatural. I lost a big chunk of that type of childhood that all the other kids had because of this talent that I had, and everyone started wrapping bubble wrap around me. And, saying all these amazing things like you're going to be the next Olympic medal for this country, blah, blah, blah. The school made a big deal. Everyone in the community made a big deal. And it did. I think it influenced the way you think about yourself. It made you feel confident, but it also made you feel like if something should happen and this, like Simpson in the Bible, my hair gets cut off one night and I lose all my powers.
Yeah.
Who am I then? Because you start identifying as this person and you think that your likability is directly related to how good you achieve. So if you don't achieve, people won't like you as much. And especially the love aspect from a dad, because your dad, a coach, you see each other literally every second. And, sometimes you had to say, hey, I need my dad now, not my coach. And, the expectations of having a first woman in throwing in South Africa getting, recognized was a big deal. So I had, say a lot of people, but many people approached me, saying that, just speak to my girl, she's big like you, but she's so shy. Just speak to my girl, she's big like you. I can't tell you how many times I heard that. So that does create some type of, you have to be extremely confident and competitive and, hard on yourself at a young age. So, but that's the only way you build a career. It's the only way you start moving in the right direction.
Gotcha.
And there's a lot of push from the back, people wanting you to go down that road. And you're pretty sure that you want to, but there's still and I think a small aspect of fear, am I really strong enough to do this? So, but it gets better.
Yeah.
That's very good.
So you move up through the ranks and all that type of stuff, and you're starting to travel abroad, and your dad's coaching, and you've got all these aspirations of making Olympics and stuff. Tell us about how the travel and how you were traveling almost like a professional athlete at that time, and dealing with going to, different countries and having to deal with home and study and all that.
I only have the best memories of that. I don't remember any hardship.
Okay.
I'm I'm very smart.
Hey, good.
So,
There's nothing wrong with
me and my
that.
husband always quibble about who's the smartest. And so I think I got through it really easily.
Okay.
The balance between the two, it wasn't that hard for me. I quite enjoyed, experiencing the world like that. I think I grew up in a different way, than a kid who went to school, 100 and whatever, how many days they go to school. My matric year, my senior year in high school, I was attending school 30 days out of that whole school year. So on my report card at the end of my senior year, they said, technically, you only attended 30 days of actual school this year, because the rest of the year I was, traveling abroad and throwing. And we had the end year in exams, like your big GED exam.
Yeah.
And you go through a pre-exam. So the pre-exam, they say, is really important because it eliminates a lot of things for the end exam. So I missed that big pre-exam. I was at the Commonwealth Games, and yes, I was stressed out about that. But I think that was the only time, because I wanted A's in everything.
Oh, good.
Wow, it sounds like you handled all that pressure really well. Yeah, to be able to have good grades in school and not be in school and not be there. That's impressive.
For sure. One thing we want to talk about, really highlight, is as your youth career was throwing and stuff. You were the world champion in the shot put in 2005, and I read a couple of articles where you found a coach that really kind of helped you with that. Walk us through that experience. What was the coach's name? And also a little bit technically, were you a glider or rotational shot putter?
So I was a glider. The rotation technique hasn't really been coached in South Africa. Just Hannes and Johannes, who got taught by Dave.
Yeah.
And they brought it back, and they started helping out a few guys, and then they put their own South African twist on it. So no, I was a glider. I was really big. I was heavy. I weighed 120 kilograms. So it's like, I don't know, 240, 250, 265.
Okay.
I was quite big. So I couldn't really think about how I'm going to rotate. I just want to get to the board and throw the thing. And so Dave, I think he recruited me. He actually flew to South Africa and came to our house and discussed, the whole thing with my parents and myself. And yeah, I think he was like an angel from God sent down to me at that point in my life, because I was really in a bad spot in South Africa, because of the support and the finance and, having my coach as my dad all the time and traveling so much. And, so the choice to move on to, something bigger was obvious for me.
Okay. Now also in that world, you were trying to go for the 2008 Summer Games in Beijing, but I think you got some sickness and some food poisoning and stuff that kind of really affected you for a while.
Yeah, so we had the All Africa Games, so that's where they take the pre-Olympic team to go and do a final qualification. And Ethiopia, I think it's all in the name. There's not much to expect, and you trust that the place where you go is going to have at least safe food and water, but not all the time. So a few athletes got sick, and I was one of them. And I was so sick, I lost so much power, because my stomach had to be pumped. I had to do a lot of intestinal work because the food poisoning was really, really bad. And it turned out there was like some tropical virus or bacteria in my stomach. So they had to remove that with strong antibiotics. And, they advised, please do not train, at a high level or even, walk fast while you're on all this medication. So I think I lost about 6 weeks. And the timing is so crucial, especially in Olympic year, when when you have to peak, and for me to be so young and just throwing with the 4K, the qualification distance was good enough. So I just wanted to get on the plane and go. I had no aspirations to win a medal or anything. I just had to be there. Because, since 11, everything's built up to this point. And so, the food poisoning kind of poisoned everything. And just straight after that, I accepted Dave's offer.
The Texas Track and Field Coaches Association. Coaches education through our annual winter clinic, the state's #1 track and field clinic. Texas Track and Field promotion, our postseason Meet of Champions, lobbying efforts with the state's governing bodies, the Texas Track and Field Hall of Fame. If it involves Texas Track and Field, we're at the forefront. Join our mission in continuing to make Texas Track and Field the nation's best.
Now, because I know Hannes and Giannis, and Hannes were already up at SMU. Did you know them as youth? Did you kind of follow their career and their path, as a youth thrower from South Africa?
Yes, of course. We were actually good friends with them and their parents. Okay. My parents and their parents, both ways, were great friends, and they had a lot in common. So, I met them even before I went to SMU. I remember this giant muscled man standing in the kitchen, and it was, talking nonstop. And I thought, who is this guy? And it was Hannes. And, they are such a big icon for throws in South Africa, because it's, I think, one of the handful of guys that actually went and followed a career in throwing, because there's so little people that has the guts in South Africa to do that, because like I said, there's absolutely no support.
Yeah. And I'm sure they talked up SMU and Coach Woolman and stuff. So tell us again. So Dave contacted you through email and stuff, and then he flew down to see you. What was your first impression of him, really? Because I know he was a good salesman when it comes to his recruiting.
It's such a blur. It's everything he spoke and told. You see things in movies and you hear things from other athletes, but it's really scary for someone to leave the nest, and then go that far away. And I think our culture as Africans, South Africans, we're very family attached. Like everyone sees each other at least 5 times a week. And Dave was just, he was such an impressive guy, and he had such a big CV of people he coached and how successful he coached them. So I think the recruiting process is hard, and even if a kid wants to go, but the parents don't want him to leave. So Dave had to pull out all stops at this family, I think.
Was your dad very skeptical of kind of turning you over to Dave, and moving to Dallas, Texas, and you come to Dallas, Texas?
Yes, no, it was like a divorce. It was really bad.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
No, we even had our last family trip together. It was like a memorial service of a week long, it's so emotional. And it really did. I think my mom even phoned me a few months after I was there, like 2 or 3 months in, and she said, your dad doesn't, because he has his own business, he hasn't done any work since you've left. He just sits in his office, looking out the window the whole day. It's like he's so depressed.
Oh no.
He can't work, and I felt such guilt. I felt so guilty, because when I first landed at SME and they walked into the throws area, I felt like I got deja vu. Like I have dreamt about this place. God has shown me this place.
Oh wow.
I just felt so at home. And, here my dad was in a complete depression, not doing any work. So I felt guilty because I was so happy.
Now, just to just to back up a little bit, because we know you were a high level recruit. Was there other schools that you kind of looked at as well besides SMU? Was there other coaches that flew down to South Africa that met with you and your family?
Yeah, so there was a few recruiters that was in South Africa, but they came, at big meets like the South African Championships or something, and they would identify their athletes before and start engaging with them. So there was a lot of offers: Australia, New Zealand, the UK, I think. A few and far between that you really, think I could see myself go there, because, I really wanted to try and slam it out with my dad.
Gotcha. So you chose SMU. You get on a plane. You come to Dallas, Texas. What did you know about SMU, and what did you learn after you got here that you didn't know?
So I looked at the website and whatever, I was just interested in how the food was and what the throws area looked like. So the rest of the college was like, boring buildings, and I need to go and study there, like. I just wanted to throw. So when I landed there, yes, the first, orientation is done. And I'd never really been on a university campus like that. You go to universities to compete at the field and you leave. Mm-hmm. But the libraries and the buildings and what it means, and, it was just, it slams you in the forehead, like this opportunity that you got to be at a place like this. It's amazing.
Gotcha. So do you remember that first practice you had with Dave and what that was like? I'm sure, Dave is very known as a very technical wizard, and there's a lot of biomechanics to his teaching. Was it something that you were just like, oh my gosh, what did I just kind of get into? Do you remember that first practice?
I don't really remember the first practice. I remember many practices. I can't tell you that. I just know that I felt like I needed to show him, like I need to show him that I'm worthy of being here. Like he didn't make a mistake. Just that type of thoughts going through me the first few months, of practice, just to show myself.
Gotcha. Your freshman year, you did really well. We're looking at your bio from SMU right now, and you finished 10th in the NCAAs and at 47.64. That had to be a really cool experience to know that you came here and were here for a short period of time, and there was validation in your talent, right?
Yeah, it was great. It was a fun experience. I wasn't happy with 10th place, but I just switched techniques and we started the rotation. So I knew that I had to get better at it. So I kind of just written it off as a bad year, but actually it was a great year.
Yeah.
So what was your discus like that first year? You said your shot put looked really well. Did you throw the discus that first year?
Yeah, I did. I liked it. I think Dave got me into the discus that year. I just did it as a second event just to, get a plan B if plan A didn't work. But the discus quickly started that year getting, to my favorite. I think it soon replaced shot put as my favorite event.
Really? Go ahead.
I said, did you ever throw the hammer?
Well, no, we tried.
There sounds like there's a funny story there.
No, the nets are just so high and it gets stuck up there, and you just don't. It's not worth it. I'm not going to do this event.
Gotcha.
What did you think of the whole surroundings of Highland Park? And I saw where one of your hobbies is shopping, so I'm sure you probably found North Park Mall by there in the Dallas area. What was your experience of being like a college student, in Dallas, Texas?
It was so overwhelming. It's such a beautiful place, and I just remember Mockingbird Station and the first time I had Starbucks and all those, it's amazing that the area. I wish I could take my kids there and show them. It's just, It's like an oasis. Highland Park is stunning. I felt very safe. I never slept, with my doors locked or being scared of anything. It's just the police on the campus and everything there. It's just, I felt really, really safe.
Gotcha. So you go through, you have all these accolades, you're throwing really far. At this time, and you missed out on Beijing. Was your focus starting to get on, the next Olympics coming around and getting the training and getting ready for that?
Yes, of course. It was all I wanted to do. is get, to the qualification mark in both discus and shot put. So I was really training hard. Yeah.
What was some of the things that Dave was like instituted you from like your freshman year to that time? Because I know he was real tight on the left side of the axis and the entry and stuff. And I've seen some video of yours on YouTube. You kind of had a big spring off that loaded left leg into your entry into the middle. Was that stuff that he's kind of changed in you during your training process?
Yes, we did a lot of small tweaks, weekly, to see how we could get a little bit extra out. So just lift the elbow a little, drop it a little, try both ways, load it left more, load the left less. Go. There's so many ways that we tweaked it every week. So it's like an engine, you keep putting oil in every time.
Gotcha. Now, Dave's known as a fatherly figure and stuff, and I'm sure there's a lot of Dave wisdoms that he's instilled in you. Is there any that you use today? Like, you raise your child and you have 3 kids. Is there any of those wisdoms that he's instilled in you that you find yourself regurgitating to your children?
Yes, I must say. That's so funny. There's not, I think, one single wisdom that I think it's not something that I carry with me. It's something that completely changed my life, because I think it was conference champs, and we had a mark, that we wanted a goal to throw. And I can't remember, I didn't do well at the wind or something. I didn't feel like, it went good. And I remember driving back, and I sat in the front seat with him, and I looked at him, and I just felt he was so disappointed. And, I kind of still have this relationship with my own dad, that is my coach, and how he would feel and look and whatever. And I asked him, Coach, are you mad at me? And he turned to me and he said, no, Simone, why would I be mad at you? And I said, well, I feel like that's what my dad would have been now, and I'm used to that. And he said, you are worth more than throwing. That was his words. You are worth more than throwing. The person who you are is the most important thing. Throwing comes after that. So when you are happy, nothing can be taken from you. Throwing should not make you happy or define you. You are a person outside of throwing, and you are a valuable person outside of throwing. And I think then that was just when the light switch went on, because up until that point, I just believed my value lays within my throwing.
Wow.
That's great stuff.
That's amazing. To right there at that moment to have wisdom to recognize that. That's amazing. That's amazing. So you get to 2011, your junior year. And I know, I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place. So I said we just kind of follow your lead. You're an All-American. You post very high marks. You're in the running for the national title. You make SMU's Sportswoman of the Year. I'm sure that had to be a big shock for you to get that award, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Crazy. Never expected it.
Was it like a big ceremony and stuff? They gave you that award and all that? Did they have a big dinner?
Yeah, it's a big dinner somewhere in one of those big halls, and everyone is there.
One of those big buildings. That's all the fancy stuff in.
For sure.
I was in the team to go to Thailand. Was it Thailand? I can't remember. To the World University Games. So South Africa called on me to represent them at those games. So the fall, I think, I think Dave's words came into my head, and I just, on that tour with South African team, and everything that Dave said about me and throwing, I just felt like it all makes sense to me now. I don't want to compete anymore. I don't want to chase this dream down. That just kind of concluded it for me.
Did you throw anything after that?
I can't remember.
So with that being said, backing up a little bit, when's the last time you've been to Dallas to SMU campus?
I went, I can't remember, 2014, 2013, 2014. I took the University of Johannesburg, who I worked for, I worked for the sports department, and they had so much, dreams about building the best sports department at any university in South Africa. And I thought that, yes, they could learn so much from the way SMU sports department works, from the gym through, having the trainers there, and the facility wise and management wise. So I kind of did a presentation to them, and I asked them, would you mind if I set up meetings for each head of each department with SMU, and then let's get budget ready, and then let's all fly over as a team, and go learn from how the American university structure handles this big sport program. So yeah, they did that, and I went with them.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that leads us up to, so what are you doing currently? I know you're a mom and you're a wife. Are you still involved in throwing and teaching, coaching? What's your main source of income?
Oh my word, I did. I got the two greatest groups of kids going. I coached 5 times a week, 2-3 hours every day.
Wow.
And I got involved with the Down Syndrome Federation. So I coached about 16 Down syndrome children, from javelin, discus, shot put.
Oh,
and
wow.
So that kept me busy. But having 3 kids, I can't have a small baby on my hip, another one sitting in the sandpit playing, another one running in front of a javelin. I can't do that. So, me and my husband just said, just be primary caregiver, look after the kids. So yeah, I stopped coaching. So that sucks, but I wish to continue one day, obviously.
Now, is your husband an athlete? What's his background?
No, he's not an athlete. And I always thought I was going to marry one, but no, he's just a good South African guy.
Oh, good. All right.
Awesome.
Good.
How old are your girls?
I've got a 16-month-old, 3.5, and 5.5.
Oh, that right there is a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Full-time job for sure.
Awesome. So I'm curious, when's the last time you had an SMU alumni party in South Africa and had those two big old blokes show up and y'all hang out and talk about Dave Woolman?
No, Hannes and my parents speak often because of my parents and his parents' relationship and his dad's death. And so I think my parents speak to him. I haven't spoken to Hannes in a while. And then Johannes lives down in Cape Town, which is a few hours flight from Pretoria. And I know he's also married and has a baby. But no, as a rule, I think everyone's lives just got on with it. Children came, jobs came, you just kind of lose touch.
And we're getting towards the end, and thank you so much for being on. But I have one question. I'm curious how you're going to answer this. Do you still watch throwing nowadays, especially on the female side?
No.
No?
I can't. I cry. I just literally cry. I can't watch the Olympics because I cry. I can't watch it.
Wow.
I try. I can watch the men.
Yeah.
So I watch this, this Olympic shot put and discus, but just the men. I can't watch the women. I get so emotional.
Wow. Is that because of what could have been for you, or just the happiness that you had during that time when you threw?
I think it's the what could have been. Obviously,
yeah.
You think, I was so close so many times. Why didn't I just hold on for one more second? It's when you see your girl trying something and they're really close to getting it right, and then they quit, and you're like, shit, just 1 second more. So yeah, I think it's that.
But I'll tell you, just from my perspective, and I'm a nobody, but what you did during your time and era has laid the foundation for what's going on right now in the world in women's throwing. Now you have people like Valerie Allman, who someday will probably do the same thing. And it's all because of what y'all did during your time. So please recognize that and know that there's young girls out there that are following in y'all's footsteps and appreciate what y'all did.
Oh, I feel guilty because I should have phoned her, because a company phoned me and said I need to make a small video for her because she just broke my South African record.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, with a few centimeters. And I remember being mad, and I Googled her. I was like, who is this woman? and no one can be better than me ever. And I saw her, and they phoned me to ask me to make her a video because she mentioned me in one of her interviews, and just to make her a video and say congratulations, blah blah blah. So I never did the video.
Yeah, her last name is Declerc,
Yes.
Declerc, yeah. Yeah, and she's just supposed to be phenomenal. She just won it over this. She went 57 feet in the shot put, glide shot put, and did U20. So it's on the internet if you have it.
Yes, we had a young guy in the Olympics. I have no idea who he is. I'd never heard of him before. Just my husband said, "Hey, this is South African in the shot put finals." I said, "Oh my gosh, she's making a comeback."
Well,
and no one.
Hopefully the South African Olympic Federation will wake up and recognize the talent y'all have, and maybe we'll start investing some money in there.
No, I think everyone who has talent would rather come, to the States to experience that, get the education. I think everything going on in this country, if there's an athlete that has an opportunity to grow, it's it's an obvious choice.
Yeah. When's the last time you spoke with Dave, if you don't mind me asking, just in general?
Well, I speak to him often.
Oh, you do really? Okay.
Yeah. No, when I returned to South Africa, I went through a divorce. My first marriage failed, and I reached out to him, because I felt I needed, some fatherly advice or whatever. So I think we started talking then, and every highlight, every baby that's born, I send him pictures, and every now and then we check in. Now with COVID, with his wife, she's got autoimmune, and so everyone was worried about her, and COVID, and so no, I speak to him every second week. I would just send him an email, or just send him an "I love you" email, or "I miss you" email.
Oh wow, yeah, awesome. I think they just had an anniversary last week or the week before, I think. So yeah, he's still treading along, doing lessons, and his impact in throwing is legendary from 20 years ago to even current. And that's so what's cool about Dave is, from people during your time or even before your time at SMU to the impact that he has on kids right now that he trains that are seniors in high school and they're going off to Abilene Christian or, to the Naval Academy or wherever. And still his impact is still great. So it's just part of that family tree that he's spread out.
Yeah.
For sure.
He is a good one.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for being on. We appreciate it. We're sorry that you kind of had to hide out from your kiddos. So, but
we understand.
Yeah, for sure. If you ever need anything and you come in the Dallas area, let us know. We would love to meet you and to let you know you were one of the greats. And regardless of where you came from, you're one of the greats in throwing. And so hold your head up high that you did great things when it came to throwing the shot and the discus.
Oh, thank you guys so much. It was such a pleasure. And go on with your podcast. It's really cool. I've listened to about 5 now. Every chance I get, I have to pause 200 times, but I listen to it.
That's okay.
We enjoy doing it. We hope we get better every once in a while, but
we
enjoy it.
Yeah, we enjoy it. It's kind of hit and miss. It's what we are. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. God bless you. Good luck to your kiddos, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. We would like to thank Simone for being on. What a great story. Just an example of someone who's very talented as a early age and had a lot of pressure, but she was able to perseverance too. But also the simple fact that it was, her dad, had a coach dad, and they had a strong bond. And that relationship led her to, breaking, records and being a world champion in 2005 in the shot put. And then those aspirations led her to come to SMU. So
of course she loves Dallas, Texas, and shopping.
Yeah, for sure.
in Highland Park.
And just the take home is the values of her coach and what Dave said to her that, her value was more than just being a thrower. And that's what she said earlier, that she just kind of viewed herself as her success was on how far she threw. But there's more to being a great thrower. It's being a well-rounded person. I think sometimes, as coaches, we get so fixated on getting these young kids to throw far because they can be the great next phenom. but in reality, these are human beings, and they're also going to be sisters and moms and a wife, and they might, and they might be a VP or a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. They have all these different titles, and the bottom line is their worth as being a human, and I think that was instilled through Dave's coachings, but also maybe a little bit of father's that's carried her into being a mom now, and I'm sure she's still doing the same influences that Dave had on her, and her kiddos as well.
Yeah, I just reiterate, like you said, the value of who you are is not in the ability that you have.
That's true.
I try to preach that daily to kids. It's awesome that you can throw a disc, throw a ball, jump high, run fast, whatever, and those things are awesome, and those are God-given talents, but you are more than that.
For sure.
And I love that Dave told her that, and all athletes can realize that, because that can go away. One injury, one whatever, those things go away, so you have to find who you are beyond the talents that you have.
Yeah, and she was able to even have success too at SMU after the whole situation with the men's team was even shut down as well too. So, kudos to her for jumping on board with that as well. So, thank her so much. We will see y'all down the road. Remember, y'all can go to YouTube and check us out on YouTube channel. Just give it the thumbs up if you like, and we'll see y'all soon.
Yeah. All right. Big shout out again to all of our sponsors, Texas Track and Field Coaches Association. Go to ttfca.org and get all the latest information, all the indoor meets and things coming up. Fourthrows.com if you're looking for implements. Those guys will treat your eye. Fourthrows.com and use the code TalkingThrows20 to get 20% off. It got dark all of a sudden. He turned our light off.
Sorry.
Portacircle.com. Making throwing more accessible. Go to porta-circle.com. Especially you guys who live up north that listen to our podcast. It's about to start getting a lot colder that direction, so you can find a way to work on throwing indoors. READYUP Athletic if you're in the Austin area. Go to READYUP Athletic Development. Give Zach a call at 512-507-8347. And like we said earlier, and remember, Lifting DFW, our website is up and running, so go check that out. It's our mobile fitness station, can help you with your performance, whether you're a 5-star athlete looking to improve yourself, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, middle-aged dad, or youth that love sports. Coach Hayes over here can hook you up, give you a great workout to get you where you want to be.
Hello, Talking Throws Texas podcasters. I'm Bruce Caldwell. I'm here today to introduce the FiberSport Discus. Yes, many of you thought I only made great vaulting poles. I have been bringing quality discuses to the throwers' hands for over 40 years. First as Cantabrian USA representative, then for the past 10 years as the Nelco discus distributor. I introduced the yellow-plated discus for the plastic's best durability. If your FiberSport discus breaks, we replace it. Our studies have reached into the science of using a wind tunnel and adding microchips to the discus to find the spin, the gravity, the flight stability of the discus. We have found it's not about rim weight anymore. It's more about creating a balanced stability to allow the discus to fly and surf the wind. Our new FiberSport discus is made to be selected to fit your needs, no matter the weather, no matter the conditions. Check out our discus selection guide at fibersportdiscus.com and find a dealer in your area that sells our fine product. Thank you, Jason and Janelle, for allowing me to talk with your listeners on Talk and Throws Texas Style.
Check us out on anywhere you listen to your podcast and watch YouTube. And please, guys, give us some feedback. We're always looking to be better in what we do and get people out there that you guys want to listen to. So,
And go buy a podcast shirt.
Bob, yes,
Yes.
because they're really cool.
Yes, they are.
Somebody